Hello and welcome to Kettle and Bones, where we make really delicious, really healthy food. And you can too. On today's menu is a simple snack item that can be a great tool for dealing with junk food cravings. We're making seed crisp bread crackers. Let's get cooking. No surprise here, seed crackers begin with seeds. We need small seeds. We're using equal parts sesame and flax seeds. We also need medium to large seeds. We're using pine nuts and sunflower seeds. Now we need something to bind our seeds together. We're using psyllium husk powder, Psyllium, and chia seeds. Both of these are going to react with liquid to help glue our crackers together, so to speak. And also to that end, 2 eggs. World famous for their ability to hold food together. All of our dry ingredients can go in first, followed by our eggs. You could, of course, beat these ahead of time. I didn't, so I'll be sure to thoroughly woofle the eggs before folding them into the rest of the seed mixture. Now to further activate our binding agents, we're adding just a little bit at a time, cool water. It doesn't take much. I have probably half a cup here and I barely used any. We're going for the consistency of kind of a coarse, wet sand that someone has spilled a bunch of seeds and nuts into. We're making 2 slightly different varieties of crisp bread crackers today, so I'm taking half of our base mixture and moving it into a second bowl. Right now the consistency should be sort of a coarse, wet sand that's had seeds and nuts spilled into it and been divided into 2 equal portions in separate bowls. Another essential element for binding our crackers together is going to be the addition of Parmesan cheese. I'm using Parmigiano Reggiano. I'd like this first batch to be Parmesan and black pepper, so I added quite a bit of Parmesan cheese. To the second bowl, I'm adding just a bit as I'm going to introduce some other cheeses later on. The consistency at this point should be sort of a coarse, wet sand with seeds and nuts in it in 2 separate bowls with Parmesan cheese sprinkled on top of them. So into my second bowl, which didn't get as much Parmesan as the first, I'm adding grated cheddar cheese, a little mild yellow and extra sharp white cheddars. And remember that first bowl is going to be Parmesan and cracked pepper flavor, so in goes some very coarsely ground black pepper. And tell you what, let's add some everything bagel seasoning to the cheddar flavored bowl. This has dried garlic and onion, sea salt, poppy seeds. You've had an everything bagel. Finally, let's hit each bowl with just a pinch of salt. And it's time to mix. The goal here is just to sort of incorporate everything together, not necessarily to get an entirely homogeneous mixture. You're going to notice, especially in the cheddar flavored bowl, clumps of cheese forming. That's actually really nice when you get the crackers completely done and cooled and you bite into just this nice crispy pocket of cheese flavor. So don't worry if you have a somewhat inconsistent blend. At this point, the consistency should be sort of a coarse, wet sand with seeds, nuts, cheese, salt, pepper, and other spices all mixed in it. We're going to take 2 parchment-lined baking sheets, and one by one, we're going to turn out our seed crisp bread mixtures so we can shape them for baking. The consistency here should be sort of you get it. Shaping our mixture so that it will bake properly into crackers is actually a little challenging. This, all jokes about wet sand aside, is pretty sticky at this point. The psyllium husk and the chia seeds have done their thing, and the mixture may tend to stick to your utensil. I'm using a silicone spatula and sort of a smearing, pressing motion to begin with. As it gets stickier and stickier, I found that sort of a broad paintbrush stroke type of motion with just the tip of the silicone spatula seems to work best to get the mixture where I want it to go. I recommend that you go for no thicker than about 1/8 of an inch. If you make a thicker cracker than that, it can work, but you'll have to adjust your baking times accordingly. Once you have your mixture spread evenly, into a 350 degree Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius oven it goes for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, take your cracker sheets out of the oven and reduce the heat to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, about 135 degrees Celsius, because we're not done yet. First, let's do a quick flyover.
Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit, for those of you seated on the left side of the aircraft, if you take a look out your windows, that down there, that's flavor country.
Seriously, it smells amazing in here. These need a little longer in the oven because they're not yet crispy. However, now is the perfect time to cut them into cracker-sized pieces, and the best tool for this is going to be a pizza cutter. Hey little buddy, been eating low carb for a while now, haven't seen you lately. The rolling action of a pizza cutter is just perfect for gently cutting cleanly through this still soft cracker layer, while hopefully not cracking or crushing the seeds into crumbs too badly. Inevitably, you will get some little bits that flake off here and there. Just brush them to the side and let them finish cooking with the rest. They make great toppings for things like salads. With our individual crackers now formed and our oven's heat reduced, back in they go. This time I'm going to check them after about 25 minutes, but the exact time is going to vary for your batch of crackers based mostly on how thick you made them. What I'm looking for here is toasty golden brownness, and there, right there. There it is. If you're concerned about whether or not these are totally done and crispy, but you're worried about burning them, you can leave them to cool off in the oven with the heat off and the door left open a crack. These have now cooled a bit, but they are still warm to the touch, so we're going to let these cool completely on a wire rack. Because you know what crackers aren't? They aren't moist, soft, and pillowy, and if you put these away warm, that's exactly what you'll get. At long last, these are fully cooled, dry, and crisp. We can pack these up for later in an airtight container. These will stay pretty crisp in here with no additional effort needed, but if you really want to crisp these up at a later date, a few minutes in a toaster oven does the trick. Just make sure you don't burn them. Nuts and seeds are not as resilient to heat as wheat-based crackers and breads. And that brings us to here, the end of what surely must be the most brown and beige episode in the history of FoodTube television. My gosh. I mean, I know these crackers are really good as a snack on their own, but come on, we can do better than this, right? Oh, yes, now we're talking. Get creative here with your favorite meats, cheeses, spreads, sauces, and garnishes. This is pepperoni and mozzarella with red sauce, a little Romano cheese, some basil, anything you've ever dreamed of doing to a cracker. Now's the time, no wrong answers. This is duck mousse with brie, little fresh black pepper on there, prosciutto ham with egg salad, add a little smoked paprika and scallions. How about pesto, turkey, dill pickle, cheddar, artichokes, tomatoes, roasted red pepper, salami, basil, fresh cucumber, roasted garlic, pickled jalapeno. Remember them? So you see where I'm going with this, right? Anything you'd like to see on a naughty, carby, blood sugar spiking conventional wheat cracker, put it on these. This is a filling meal right here. Or a classy hors d'oeuvre plate for a get-together with your low-carb friends. So if a craving for something crunchy and savory has ever threatened to knock you off your diet wagon, I highly recommend you give these a try. It's well worth the effort. As always, stay with us. You're gonna see these make an appearance on Kettle and Bones again. But for now, just enjoy your seed crisp bread crackers.